G'day folks, today I've come to the Eldorado dredge to try out some new circle hooks to see if I can catch a redfin. Hey you! You're watching Robbie Fishing. G'day everyone. People keep telling me to try circle hooks. Apparently they're better for not gut hooking fish. So yesterday I went to BCF in Wodonga and I bought some circle hooks. Today I've come out to the Eldorado dredge to see if I can catch a redfin and see whether the circle hooks help me not gut hook fish. Now this is a circle hook. I assume it's given that name by the fact that it almost forms a full circle. At the end of the point you'll see it folds back and points back in. I asked on my Facebook page what people thought of these and most people liked them. Some people said that they can be hard to put worms on because of the way the tip is bent. And just about everybody told me that you have to wait for the fish to hook themselves. You can't just try and set the hook and strike like a normal hook. So you've got to be patient, and that's not a strength of mine. Anyway, I've got two rods with running sinker rigs, both with these circle hooks. Let's chuck a worm on and put them in. Righto, ready to go. I've got my two running sinker rigs. I've got a single janjuk worm on each rig. Righto, now I've moved over to Old Faithful Creek. I was at the Eldorado dredge for an hour and didn't get a touch, so I've come over here. I've still left the same worm on, the same worm that I put on when I first got to Eldorado. Yep. Oh shit, look at this. Oh, you've got to leave it. I just had an epic bite on that rod. It's been in there for like not even long enough for me to get me second rod in. 10 seconds maybe. I went to strike, but people tell me that you shouldn't strike with circle hooks. And that is the very reason I come to this spot. I really want to try and catch a fish, especially a small redfin. I know there's a few here. Just to see how well these circle hooks go at hooking fish. Right, I've got a bite now. Everyone tells me I've got to be patient. I'm being patient. Let the fish hook themselves, people say to me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm letting the fish hook itself. It's still there. Has it hooked itself yet? Well, how long? How long do you have to leave it to hook itself? Is that long enough? Can I reel it in yet? Let's try it now. Oh, it's way out in the middle of the river, but it didn't hook itself. This is going to take some getting used to, folks. This leave the line in and let the fish hook itself business. Look at the slime all over the worm. You might put a fresh worm on there. As the light rain starts to fall, I've put a fresh worm on my circle hook. People say leave it and let the fish hook themselves, but how long do you leave it for? That's a bit I want to know. How long do you leave it for? Getting a really small little nibble on this line. Tiny. There it goes. I'm not allowed to strike it and set the hook. What if I just open the bail and see what happens? I'll just open the bail and see what happens. Everyone told me when I asked on Facebook, everyone said the same thing. Don't strike, just let the fish hook itself. So that's what I'm doing. And it's taking a lot of willpower. Look, it sounds... Put the GoPro... Look, I've got to be able to strike now, surely. Got him. Big. Oh, you know what I didn't bring? A landing net. Because I was going out to the Eldorado dredge hole to try and catch a small redfin, I sat there for an hour and done no good, but I had no intentions on coming here. Big mistake not bringing a net. Well, I'd done what everyone told me to with this circle hook. I just was patient, very patient for me, patient by my standards. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Loretta just said I'll have to put my finger on its gills without falling in, like I did in the blackberries the other day. Thankfully I don't have the blackberries here, but I don't know whether I can get down low enough to get to the water.
I'll hold your leg.
Just before I got that bite, a crow flew over up there. You know what a crow's favourite game is?
What?
Croquet. Come on. Oh, he got off. Oh no, he didn't. It was a big head shake. I thought he got off then. I haven't even had a good visual on this fish yet. It's, look at the bend in the rod. It's going bonkers, mate. Bonkers. Oh, I really want to land this fish because I often talk about my iometer, and sometimes I've got to measure fish to see how accurate my iometer is. Well, today I get to test the armometer. I bought a set of scales. Can you open that blue esky for me, please? And get this. There's a set of scales in there. They're round with a little hook on. I'm pretty sure I put them in. Kicking myself if I didn't. Because at the moment this feels like a good old-fashioned 10-pounder. Oh yeah, I think so. I can see him at the corner of my eye. So I don't want to take my eye off here in case I get a bite on that rod. I don't need them yet until I land the fish. If and when. I reckon I'll be able to land it, but it's just going to require me getting very dirty. You might have also noticed today that I'm using a couple of these different types of rod holders. When I bought the circle hooks at BCF, I grabbed them as well. They're not going to take away from the other ones that I use. But today was just a really bare essentials kind of a day. And packed very lightly. Look at the size of the boils out there. I reckon the carp fight harder now, this time of year, than what they do in July and August when the water's cold. Their metabolism must be just working better, and they've just got a lot more stamina. I don't like holding my rod low like this, but that other rod's going to get tangled if I don't. Big, it's tiring. But is it tiring enough to have my fingers under its gills? I don't want to get down on my knee until I think he's completely boogered. Right, now I've got it. Now I've got it proper. Oh, that's a proper carp. That has got to be, I'm guessing 71 centimetres and 9 pound. Now folks, worth noting is that the hook is right down there in the gills. That's got the circle hook all the way down. But in fairness to the carp, that's a big fish for a small hook. Now that I've got time to have a look, I'm guessing 68 centimetres and 8 pound. I've just revised that down a little bit. It's not as fat as some of the carp that I caught in the river recently. Anyway, let's get a measure and a weight. That is 68. You wouldn't read about it. Look, that's right on the tail. That's right on the mouth. "68 centimetres. If it weighs 8 pound, then I'm a genius. Folks, you're not going to believe this. That is 8 pound on the dot. 8 pound on the dot, if you look at that. Nothing wrong with my armometer or my iometer. Well, folks, the verdict is not out because that fish swallowed the circle hook, but it was a very big fish for a very small hook. The real test will come when I catch a small redfin. They're probably, haven't even got my watch on. We're probably going to be here for about another half an hour or so before we head off. Hopefully that's enough time for a smaller fish to come along and give us a good verdict on whether these hooks work or not. Now there's the hook that I'm using. The hook is actually called a mustard demon hook, and the whole entire hook isn't even as big as my thumbnail. It's intended for small redfin, silver perch, trout. If I was targeting a fish that big, I'd have been using a hook a lot bigger. So I think even with circle hooks, if they're designed to lip hook fish more, there's got to be a ratio where the fish is just so big that it'll inhale the whole hook. And I think that might be what just happened. So I'm not going to say that they don't work on the account of one fish. They are a bit trickier to put the worm on. I would imagine they'd be very hard to thread a worm on, which I'm not doing. I'm just putting 2 worms on now, and I'm just sort of piercing it through 2 or 3 times each worm, so that I've got lots of live action on the worm. Now, look at that. A demon hook with a demon bait. Just getting a bite here. Come on. I'm not supposed to hook it, but I want to. This is really hard. Something's playing with that. What I might do is just take up the slack, see what happens. I should have listened. I should have listened to everybody that told me not to do that. I should have listened to everybody that said don't. It's just so hard. I'm just used to fishing like that. When I see my rod tip bouncing around, it just seems impractical not to try and strike. Now this feels really strange. That rod's getting a bite at the moment and I'm just sitting back watching it, because I don't know what to do. I think I've just got to leave it there until the fish hooks itself. That's what they tell me. Oh, no, this one. Both of them. That one's on here. Look, this one's on. Oh, both rods at once. It's all happening. That one's been there for 8. Oh, this one. Got him. Oh, no. That's another carp for me to land with, a net that's probably going to have the hook, gut hook, because it's just enormous. This one's still going. Be calling for backup shortly. This one, this one's halfway to Melbourne. Look, look, look. Oh no! Can you come back? I need some assistance. I've got an issue. Oh dear. I've got a big issue. Problem. Sorry, I just need your assistance. Look what's going on here. I've got one on each rod. Yeah, I have a rod. Go your hardest. It's big, I've got to warn you. Is it still on? Yeah. It might be wrapped around that bark on that tree. I think mine's gone down that way too. It's wrapped around the bark on that tree. Yeah. God, look at the size of this. That is enormous. Last time I was here, they were all in the 50 to 60 size, but these are all 60. Well, this one is anyway. Do you want this one? Well, I'll try and get that off the tree. All right, do you? You have that one. Just play with it and tire it out. I'll go and see what I can do with this. I can feel it feels like it's still on. I think it's still on. The line's wrapped around something on this tree here. Nope. Right. Now it's wrapped around something down there. I'm going to have to give it slack and go around there like that. I don't know whether this one's still on. Well, folks, I think I'm going to lose this one. It's wrapped me around that tree there. Be careful not to end up in the drink here. Ooh, so slippery. I don't even know whether this fish is still on there. I'm going to have to snap this line. It's only a carp, but it's there's no way of knowing whether the fish is still there. Hopefully it doesn't snap. It broke free, look. Oh no, the hook's gone. The carp's taken off. I've got the sinker, but the carp's taken off with the hook. Anyhow, let's get this other one in. How you going there? I'll get down in the landing position. So much for testing out the circle hooks on little redfin. I'll catch my breath for a minute while you're doing that. Welcome to Loretta Fishing. Now the reason it's taking so long to land these fish, apart from the obvious fact that we haven't got a net, is I've only got 6 pound line on both of these rods, 6 pound Maxima Ultra Green. And when you catch an 8 pound carp on 6 pound line, hey, it's hooked in the lip. The circle hook's done the job on this fish. I gave him plenty of time and he hooked himself in the lip. That's what I like to see. He's getting closer. I've got to be able to pin it to the bank. Gone. After all that, it snapped the line. That's why I was taking so long, because I knew one mistake and it just went snap. Circle hooks. The jury's still out. The first fish I gave ages and it didn't hook up. The second fish I gave ages and it did hook up, but it was gut hooked. The third fish I didn't give long enough and I didn't get it. And then bang bang, like a double barrel shotgun, I hooked up twice and they both were self-hooking on the circle hooks. So far I'm liking them. So far I get the idea that they are good for the fish hooking themselves, and whether they gut hook fish still or not, well, the jury's still out, because catching a 70 centimetre fish on a hook that long, well, it's going to fit anything, and it would have fitted a hook 5 times that big in its mouth. So the jury's still out on that one. You can't tell this from one fishing trip. I'm going to be going fishing with circle hooks again soon, and I'm going to get to know them a bit better. But this has been a great experiment. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, want to give it a big fat thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.